those are going to be the ones where there are holes. So the limit exists, but that limit does not equal f of c. So the graph would look something like this. Here's a hole. Here's the x-axis. Here's C. And maybe it's empty, or maybe it's up here. But right here is going to be where the limit is. Because as you approach C from the left, you're headed this way. As you're approaching C from the right, you're headed towards that way. And this value is f of C. So they're not the same value. And so what we do, pretty common, is we take f of x and we're going to factor it. And Matthew, this is a difference between squares, correct?
Yep.
Which means they have conjugates, correct? They have a Bill and they have a Bruce. So what are the conjugates of x squared minus 1?
That would be x plus 1, x minus 1, cancel stuff out.
Okay, and so this can be simplified, right? And so a new function is formed, g of x is equal to x plus 1. And we can take the limit as x approaches, let's say approaches 1 of x plus 1, and we would get 2. So these g and f have identical y's. The only difference is f has a hole in it at the point 1, 2, correct? So how do we find the y value? We're taking the limit as x approaches 1 of g of x and getting that 2. This is going to be our y value. We have a hole at 1, 2.
I'm really bad taking notes today.
Am I going too fast?
No, it's just I'm just out of it today.
Okay.
You love taking notes.
Here it says if
You love taking notes so I can focus better.
f of x is continuous for all real numbers, and if f of x equals so here it says it's continuous. If f of x is continuous for all real numbers, and if f is equal to this when x doesn't equal 4, find f of a negative 4. So this is an AP question. Even continuous, it looks like there's going to be a hole there, right? Would everybody agree? And so how can there be a hole, and how can it be continuous at the same time? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take f of x and I'm going to factor it to x plus 2 times x plus 4, and I get x plus 2 times x plus 4, and I get x plus 4, and I said, hey, bam, now I have a function g of x equals x plus 2. Well, this means there's a hole there, correct? But they told us it was continuous. So f of x must be a piecewise graph. It must be a piecewise graph that looks like this. On top is x squared plus 6x plus 8, comma, x plus 4. And this is for everything but this, because that's what they tell you right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a new function. I'm going to put this x plus 2 here when x equals a negative 4. thereby removing that hole that's created here, correct? So now it's continuous. Is that kind of making sense?
No.
And when you first see that, at least I was, when I first saw that, I was
Piecewise
totally
means like
confused.
The piecewise to me feels like a jump of sorts.
Jump in what?
Never mind.
Okay. Okay,
Like piecewise means discontinuity though, right?
no, not necessarily. So here it says, hey, F has gotta be continuous. But then it says, hey, for all real numbers. But right here, they give you a real number of which it isn't. And it's not, it's a whole. So how do we fix that? We take this do function and put that here, and we'll only use it when x is a -4. Now, what we've literally done is plugged in that hole, correct? So then they give you this. They say let f be a function defined by this. For what value of a is it continuous at x equals 6? Well, I'm going to factor this, or somebody's going to factor this. Ariana, what is the factor of this? One's got to be negative, one's got to be positive, right? Because of that -18. Perfect. And down here I have x minus 6, correct? So that means I'm going to have a piecewise graph. It wants it continuous at x equals 6, and it's not now, is it? So then I'm going to have f of x equals, I'm going to write this up here, this first part, x squared minus 3x minus 18 over x minus 6. Over here I'm going to have x not equal to 6. Here I'm going to write x equals 6. What number can I put in here to plug the hole that's created here?
X plus 3.
Well, a's got to be a number, okay? And you know that x is 6. And I'm literally plugging the hole in at the point 6 comma what?
3. -3.
It's 9, isn't it? How would that happen? Well, that would be gone. I plugged 6 into here,
Oh.
and I have a hole at 6, 9, and now this plugs the hole at the point 6 comma 9. I could have, instead of having x plus 2 here, I could have had, if I wanted to, a -2 here, correct? And been correct. Because that's the only value I'm going to plug into x plus 2, and the only number I'm going to get is a -2. Does that make sense? Why do I feel like I'm making it confusing?
Because it kind of is, and the file drill is taking a lot out of us.
Let me give you another one then, okay? Did everybody agree on that? Okay? So I want to make that continuous. So how do I make that continuous? I'm going to make it into a piecewise graph. And I'm going to write this as the top part. I'm I'm gonna pause there. Does everybody understand what I did? Does everybody understand why it's not continuous at a -1? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in that hole. I'm going to remove that hole. Oops, I should gotta put a -1 right there, correct? So I need a y value, right? Piecewise means I'm going to have a special case here. I know I can't put a -1 in here, so I'm going to make this a piecewise, and I'm going to plug it into there. Well, how do I determine where that is? I factor it. I think it factors to this. Correct? Now do I know the y value that's got to be there? Once, what it got to be? 5. Because I only got to find that one spot. Boom! I just put my thumb into the dike, didn't I? Saved Netherlands. In this case, saved the world. Or the universe, however you want to look at it. Okay, is that clearer?
Kind of.
Okay, where are you confused?
How do we get like a function within the function, like for like the when x equals -4 on number 2 on the front?
This one here. Is this the one you're asking?
Yeah, because I've got x plus 2.
Right, and what I'm saying is, x plus 2 gives you your y, correct?
Oh, so we don't put in x plus 2.
No, put a number in there.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more
Does that
sense.
help?
Thank you.
I'm just saying, I don't even have to write that much. I can just write the constant that you're gonna be when you plug in that x.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Everybody okay on that?
I think so. I think I am at least.
All right, that's it for notes, really.